What's going on, everybody? Katie Barrett, online instructor with Show Up Fitness Internship, and I'd like to talk to you today about how I deal with a client's injury, whether it happened during my session or whether they're coming to me with a pre-existing injury. So first I'm going to look at, is this an acute injury, like did this just happen during our session, or is this a chronic injury or ailment that they've been dealing with for 6 months or more? I would be less concerned with the chronic because that client's been dealing with that for quite a long time, and the chances that it's a really serious emergency are very low when it comes to the chronic. Acute, so I'm going to ask, like, if it happened during your session, was there burning, shooting, or numbness associated with the injury? All right, so if there's obvious bruising or swelling, like immediately, I'm going to refer out. That's going to be out of my scope of practice. I'm going to tell them to go to a doctor. Now, I'm not going to freak out and say, oh my God, you have to go see a doctor right now. That looks terrible. You know, remain calm about the injury. Like I talked about, if we see burning, shooting, or numbness, this could indicate a tear, and then shooting and numbness is going to probably be some type of nerve issue. So once again, out of my scope of practice, this would be a great opportunity to network with a physical therapist or a doctor. If you have one of your own, if you have one on your team, that's a great opportunity for you to send that client to your physical therapist, somebody that you trust and have experience. Now, if we're dealing with some type of soft tissue issue, whether it's tightness, whether it's just soft tissue, mobility challenge that client is facing, that is something that we can help with, all right? Show Up Fitness teaches the soft tissue manipulation for minor injuries, and what used to be the RICE protocol, rest, ice, compress, and elevate, is now peace and love protocol. So you can go ahead and Google that. So we have P for protect, E for elevate higher than the heart, A for avoid anti-inflammatories, C for compress, and E is going to be for educating our clients on what the injury may be and things like that. Of course, we don't want to step outside of our scope of practice, but we as personal trainers should know certain things about the soft tissue. And the love portion of this protocol is going to be load, optimism, thinking positively and thinking that we can come back from this issue. V is vascularization, getting blood flow to that area, and of course, exercise. Movement is medicine in so many cases, more than not. Movement and exercise is going to help that injury heal faster, okay? Also, we love the Prehab guys. They are on our team. They are a team of physical therapists that have a wonderful app with thousands of exercises to help with mobility, stretching, specific diagnosis. So if you haven't checked them out, go ahead and check out the Prehab guys. Now let's move over to the chronic side. Okay, so if they've been dealing with it for a while, is it limiting range of motion or the type of exercise they can do? Generally, we're going to say, oh, when I get past, you know, this point, or if I do this, it hurts. So looking at their form, how much load we're using, are they or have they been under the care of a doctor or a physical therapist for this issue? If so, this is a great opportunity to network, all right? Make their PT or their physical therapy exercises a part of their session. We would love to believe that our clients are doing what they're supposed to do to become a part of their own recovery. However, a lot of clients only do the physical therapy when they are at the physical therapist's office. We all know that physical therapy comes with a lot of homework, and people have a really hard time finding time in their day or making specific time to complete those exercises, which is going to slow down the healing process. So once again, finding their trainable menu. Usually we don't have to completely skip a pattern of movement, but we can reduce the range of motion or the load to allow them to perform that exercise or a variation of that exercise. Adam, I believe, teaches a really great class on exercise progressions and regressions for this exact issue. So like I talked about earlier, knowing what is within our scope of practice as personal trainers. I'm not going to be trying to diagnose my clients with an issue, but it is okay, of course, if you ask for their permission, to do some soft tissue mobilization before or after your session, all right? And what do you as the trainer feel comfortable handling? If you don't feel confident and comfortable with it, then it's going to come across weird and like you don't know what you're doing. So make sure that it is something that you are comfortable doing. I recommend practicing on family and close friends if you still need to bolster your confidence in dealing with this type of stuff. So working around, going forward, working around an injury until cleared by a doctor if under a doctor's care. Once again, I cannot stress it enough. It is very important to network with your client's doctors. That way you work together to help this client feel better and get back to daily activities, all right? Reduce the load, reduce the range of motion to just before they feel pain, all right? So if it hurts for them to go overhead, then we may do a landmine press and just go up as far until right before they feel pain, okay? Watch your language around them too, meaning like, does that hurt? You know, their brain is automatically gonna go to hurt, hurt, hurt. Oh my God, injury, I'm scared. You know, I always like to say, what is your body telling you right now? Is your body telling you that maybe we've reached our limit with this exercise? Is your body telling you that it's probably had enough for today? What is your body trying to communicate with you? So these are some really wonderful strategies to deciding whether you can work with a client that has an injury, and also how to improve your confidence and your knowledge when dealing with injuries.